So we got through the rest of that marketing, and so now we're going to jump into a little bit more kind of designing your portrait events. And this is just a list of themes, and again, you've got this in your workbooks, and you guys will have it online as well. So it's just different ideas, and I've just thrown a million of them up there. I have little angels over here because that's the theme that I do for my charity events. We produce a little angels calendar every year for our charity, for Dondo Amor, and so that's my theme. I don't do a lot of themes with my events, but I've worked with studios and helped them get set up that only do themes. So they actually work with their host mom and allow them to choose a theme for the event. And that way every single one is different, and you kind of gear it towards the client that you're working with. So that can be a really fun thing. And even if you just do your theme location based, so for example, if it's spring and you do pictures in the park, or if you do wildflower days, or just something simple that makes it about the location, it's something that kind of ties it in and makes it make a little bit more sense as an event for people. And so there's all different kinds of ideas, even down to just doing it with pets, or we do actually our pet event isn't even listed on there. Oh yeah, it is. Forever Friends is ours. But there's Forever Friends and Pause for a Cause and Bark Back and Positively Perfect and Furry Friends. You can call it anything, but just tying into a different theme for pets if that's your thing. And that's another thing that we haven't even touched on yet, but these portrait events can also be used if that's your market. If you're just photographing pets, you just have to find that one right mom, doggy mom or horse mom or whatever it is. And you guys know people with pets spend a lot of money on their pets. People with horses spend a lot of money on their horses, dogs, even cats, people are spending a lot of money on these animals. So it's great to tie in to kind of that same thing. One doggy mom knows another doggy mom, so you can start your portrait events that way. All right, so getting in touch with your host, that initial contact. And, you always kind of wonder, well, how do I start this? Who's first? So we talked about a little bit earlier about kind of going through that list, figuring out who your target client is, and then starting that contact list from that. So really deciding from there, just kind of who you're going to practice on even. And it might be in the beginning that you've always done your best friend's portraits for free, and you really don't want to start charging her, even though you should. But she's one of those well-connected moms. She's somebody who knows a lot of people. Maybe her kids are in a high-end dance academy or, whatever it might be. It's the right mom. So that's a great way to work with somebody that you want to keep working with that really hasn't been paying you appropriately, but does have those connections. So that might be your first mom to call and say, hey, I have a way that you can get a free session for your kids and earn $500 in portrait credit. Is this something that you would be interested in? And that way it leads to, those other contacts that she has. So we're going to now play the first phone call that we've been trying to get to all day long. So what we did is the host mom that I'm working with here, and this phone call is going to be a little bit different than a typical phone call just because this was a different situation. But you'll get to hear kind of the basics of how that very first phone call goes.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. This is Lori Nordstrom, and I'm the photographer who's friends with Susie Johnson. And she had mentioned that you guys had chatted and you might be interested in hosting a real kids event like she did.
Yes, I'm really interested. I loved her pictures of her kids.
Good. Well, I love hearing that. And for our host moms, we actually offer a free session for your own kids, and then up to $500 in portrait credit. So I'd love to tell you a little bit about how that works if that sounds good.
Absolutely. Sign me up.
Awesome. Well, I've heard about your kids too, and they sound like the perfect ages. What I like to work with these sessions are kids sitting up through age 14. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of our ages. And Susan said that you were so well connected and had so many great friends, and so she thought you would be perfect to do this. So that's exciting. But what I would love for you to do is just kind of over today, just kind of start making a list of people that you think would be interested. And then I'd love to call you back this afternoon or tomorrow morning, whatever works well for you, and kind of go through that and talk to you a little bit about what you're actually going to say to your friends when you call them, and what we'll do is we'll plan an event on a day, and typically I like to do it at your home if you're willing to host it at your home.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll schedule sessions, and typically it's between 10 and 12 sessions, and there's 30 minutes each, and it's going to be, there's $50 per child to do the session. And then we actually show them their images right after the session, and so that's really fun and keeps it high energy, and everything's done on that day. So it's a really fun day.
Cool.
Great. Well, do you have any questions for me?
What should my kids wear?
What should your kids wear? Well, actually, that's a great question. And what I'll be doing, and when I call you for our second call, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about your decor style in your home and your colors, and I'm even going to be asking you to take some pictures of the walls in your home and really any place that you would consider hanging a portrait. And by doing that, then I'll be able to talk to you about clothing suggestions and even maybe some personal props that you might want to bring, finding out what your kids are into and that kind of thing. So that's something to think about as well. And also think about a couple dates that might work for you. And so when I call you back, we'll want to look at that to get our schedules out and pick a date.
Okay, and when I make my list of my friends, you said 10 or 11 sessions, right?
Correct.
So should I make a list of 30 friends so that we can see who is interested?
If you can make a list as big as you can.
Okay.
And really the criteria is just, moms like you, people who love photography and have, energetic, fun kids that they want to celebrate. And, that's kind of what we specialize in, and really why it's even called Real Kids is because it's all about real life and those moments and capturing those personalities. And so I'm sure you're already starting to think about moms who would really love it.
Yes, I have a few in mind.
Okay. Well, super. Well, when would be best for us to chat again? This afternoon or tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning sounds great.
Okay. Well, let's talk tomorrow morning at the same time.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's really is pretty much a typical first phone call. A little bit different, like I said, because of the situation here. Normally I'm calling somebody, and for example, the very first phone call that I made for Real Kids was when I decided in 2009, I have to figure out how to make money tomorrow. My appointment book isn't booked. And, so what can I do? And the thing that I knew could make money in a day was an event like this. And like I said, I'd been doing this for a charity event for many, many years. And so I knew the parameters of it worked. I needed to tweak it to make it more for the studio and not for a charity event. But I knew it could happen in a day. And by the way, why weren't all those and edited out into there? That was so hard to listen to. I was just about to say it again. So I called the first mom, and I just let her know, here's what's going on in the studio. And the call was basically, hey, this is Lori Nordstrom. How are you guys? How are the girls? Haven't seen you guys in a while. Just wanted to call and chat with you and let you know about something that we're doing that's brand new in the studio, and I immediately thought of you. And it was another one of those things where, again, and I'm telling her, I know you're so well connected. I immediately thought of you. You're going to be perfect for this. And so already planting those positive seeds of, all right, what you got going on? And then I just let her know, I've got something that we're doing now, and my language is always as if it's already in place. She was the first person that I ever called, but I wanted to let her know, we've got something that's going on now that you're perfect for. Here's what's happening. So I let her know, we're going to be doing portrait events. And what I would love for you to do is to be a host mom. And by being one of our host moms, you're going to get a free session for the girls, and you're going to get $500 in portrait credit. Does that sound interesting to you? And she right away was like, sign me up. And I had already told that to Lisa, and so that's why she gave me that answer. But it really is honestly a typical answer. When I call somebody, it doesn't matter who they are. If I tell them you can get a free session plus $500 in portrait credit, they're saying, tell me what I got to do, So that's really is how that goes. The things that we want to make sure happen on this call are just establishing that relationship first. Typically, it is someone that I've worked with before and just haven't seen in a while. Now, people that are hosting events are people that have come to an event and want to host their own, and we've got marketing for that as well. And then we're just going to tell her how it goes, how it works. They're going to get a free session for their kids. They're going to get $500 in portrait credit. And how that works is she's going to get the free session just for hosting the event, and then she's going to get $50 in portrait credit for every mom that brings her kids. So the goal is for her to have 10 moms, and I tell them 10 to 12 because typically they'll call 12 and we'll end up with 10 and not 30. Typically they don't ask that question, but they are thinking about, I'm telling them 12 to 15. And they're going to get $50 for every single mom that comes. And I do use that well-connected line a lot. I know you're so well-connected. They love that, and they start on that list. So I ask them to get going on that and then make the appointment for the second call. And typically that second call literally is, if I'm calling in the morning, I might call them right back in the afternoon. I want it to stay on their minds. I want them to know, okay, I got to get this done. I got to start making this list so I can talk to Lori about it. Otherwise, I'm going to call them the next morning. But we do it right away. Now, this is an actual phone kind of conversation that I typed out for you guys. And so I am going to read this because I think it's important to kind of go through how a natural phone call, that progression goes, even though you just heard it. But this will be there for you as well, obviously, if you end up with this course. So I'm going to call and I'm just going to say, hi, this is Lori. And if you haven't seen somebody for a while, or like with Lisa, I was calling as a referral from someone. So I said, this is Lori Nordstrom, the photographer. I was calling because Susie Johnson hosted an event and said that you might be interested. Obviously, there was no Susie Johnson, but for the sake of this call, there was a Susie Johnson. So you're just going to clarify if you need to. I'm doing great. I hadn't seen you guys in a while. I've been thinking about you guys and just wanted to give you a call. How are the girls? And again, this is something that I literally have written out in my studio, and I go over this. And as many times as I've made this phone call and as natural it is for me, I want to make sure that I'm just touching on all the key points that I need to touch on. So I'm reading through this. I'd love to see the girls again and photograph them again. And I think I've come up with something, or we're doing something is what I'm saying now, that you might be interested in. I'm doing something new and thought you would be just perfect for it. When I think of a well-connected mom, I think of you. And that's something I say, almost every time. And they're going to laugh. They're going to say, oh, well, thanks. I suppose I never thought about that, whatever. I've started a program called Real Kids, and I just wanted to tell you about it. If you decide to join me in this, you're going to get a free portrait session for the girls and $500 in portrait credit. You in, or sounds good? We're just going to kind of flow with that. And then I haven't ever had anybody tell me no. I mean, you offer somebody that, and they're like, well, yeah, what do I got to do? I guess I want to be a part of this. So Real Kids is a portrait event. It's kind of like a party, and I do go ahead and use that word with my host moms because I want them to get the idea. These days, really, there are a lot of people that have already heard of a portrait party. And so I'll tell them, kind of like a party. If I need to explain it more, it is kind of like an appointment-based pampered chef or, whatever. That's kind of what it's like. So they're going to invite people. So it's kind of like a party, and I'd love for you to be a host. And what this means is that we're going to select a location together, and then you would invite 10 to 12 of your favorite mommy friends, and you're going to use that phrase depending on the age of the kids that she has. But if she's got little ones, you're going to invite 10 to 12 of your favorite mommy friends to bring their own kids to be photographed. I charge $50 per session for the session, and you're going to get $50 in portrait credit for every mom who signs up. And again, typically it's, I'm already thinking of people, I'm on this, they really do get excited about it. And I could tell you, even if you're just starting this, what happened for me when I was in the beginning of it, I told people, this is a new program for us. We've just started this. I'm so excited for you to be a part of the ground floor of this. And they're excited to help you. They really are, especially if they've been a client in the past, or if it's that person that you see at the gym every morning and she's bringing in her kids in their designer Uggs and they're 2 years old, or whatever. And you tell her, this is what's going on. They're excited. They're excited to get their friends involved and be the one in the know. You've told them you're that person, and they enjoy that. So after they're agreeing, I tell them, great, I was hoping you'd say that. It really is a really fun day, and I think your friends would really enjoy it too. So we're going through this process and, setting up that next appointment. I do go ahead and tell them what this is all about. As you know, what we specialize in is wall decor, and it's going to be no different at this event. I'm going to be calling each one of your guests after you get them set up, and I'll do a consultation call with them on clothing for their kids, personal props, and where we're going to be hanging their portraits. So I am pre-laying all the groundwork for what this is going to be about. Now she knows it's not just mini sessions, it's not just a portrait party, it's not just, we are still focused on the things that we're focused on, the things that we specialize in. So I want to reiterate that to her. If it's brand new to you and you're not doing this and this is the direction that you want to go, just say that. This is something new that I'm specializing in, and I'm so excited to share with you our new frame line or whatever it is that you decide to incorporate into this type of event. Just let them know. And if you're excited, they will be excited too. It's the same way when you get to the point where you're done putting your images online for sale and you need to get in front of your client for sales. It will change your bottom line overnight. That's one thing that you can do tomorrow is just take them offline for the sale, sit down with them and go through the order with them, make suggestions. You will double your averages. And I can just about guarantee it. I've seen it over and over and over. I've even worked with people who have quadrupled their averages overnight without even changing pricing. It makes that much of a difference if they're online and what happens every single time when they're online. There's only one person in the world that I know of who has great sales averages online, and it's Audrey Woolard. And it's because she has a very specific product that every single person buys, and she also knows that she has the averages exactly where she wants them. She knows if she met with them in person, she would make more money. But she has her averages where she wants them, and she's not willing to do the extra work to make them more money. And that's okay. She's made that choice for her business and her lifestyle and her family. However, for the average Joe, for the average Lori, if I put my images online and throw them to my client and say, take a look at everything and let me know what you want, they're going to call me back or email me, Facebook me, and they're going to say, we love everything. They're so amazing. You're so awesome. This is great. And then it's going to go a week, and I'm not going to hear from them. And then it's going to be 2 weeks, and it's going to be 3 weeks. And then I'm going to call them, and then I'm going to feel like I'm bugging them. And then, 2 months goes by, and it's like, well, I guess that was a wash. And it happens over and over and over because all they know is to go and love those pictures and enjoy them. And if they do order, they order 4x6s, 5x7s, and great big 8x10s. That's all they know. So we have to sit with them. We have to prepare them. We have to make suggestions. We have to do what's best for them through the whole entire process. What's best for them is not throwing them online for them to make decisions. And it's not giving them a CD, And I know for me, if I'm going to buy something that's a high-ticket item, I want to be sold. I want to be told why this is the best thing for me. When my daughter went off to college, I sent my mattress along with her, and I had to go buy a new mattress. And when I walked into the mattress store and there's, 40 mattresses in there, I don't want to sit on 40 mattresses or lay on 40 mattresses. I don't even want to look at all the prices. I don't care. I want to know what's best for me, and I want somebody to tell me what's best for me so I can get it and go home. And I feel like it's that way really with any purchase. We want to know we've made the right decision. And the only way to make the right decision or know we've made the right decision is for somebody to tell us that we did. And so if the expert, if the mattress salesman is telling me, asking me about my sleeping habits, asking me about, do you like soft, medium, hard, whatever. If they're asking me questions about my lifestyle and then making a suggestion based on me, then I'm gonna trust them. I'm gonna believe them. That's what they're there to do. Same thing with us. If somebody's coming to you to buy portraits, they're trusting you as the expert. So make those suggestions. Tell them what's best for them. The only way we can do that, obviously, is to ask those questions about their home and about their lifestyle and decor style and all those things. So even in the portrait events, we're going to go through this, and I'm going to tell them right from that first phone call. As you know, this is what we specialize in. I think I maybe just mentioned it to Lisa in that call. But there are no requirements for this. I just ask that we keep the ages between sitting up and age 14. And I know that you know tons of moms in that category. So again, kind of giving her the parameters and getting her to start thinking about it. Now, tomorrow, we actually have a 16-year-old coming. However, what happened was this mom really wanted her kids photographed, and she's got a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old, and she was literally just going to bring the 12 and 14-year-old. And when I talked to her on the phone, I said, no. You bring them all three, because I want something on her walls. She's not going to put something on her walls of two of her kids. We got to have them all here. So she's bringing them all. So we're going to break out of our zone a little bit, but that's okay, because some of you out there might want to be doing sessions that, maybe you don't do high school senior sessions, and so you're going to include any number, any age of kids, and that's fine. It'll also be a really easy session, so I'm sorry about that, but with that age, it's always easy. And then I'm just going to ask her, I want her to give me some feedback at that point. So I'm going to ask her, how's all this sounding to you so far? And then she's going to tell me anything that she's concerned about or has questions about, and that's great. And again, sit and think about what those questions could be and write out your answers to them. So you always have that positive yes answer to whatever you could be asked. So I'm going to let you start a list, and I'm going to give you a call back tomorrow so that we can choose a date and go over any questions that you have. And I'll chat with you about some of the friends that you have in mind, and we can brainstorm some more together. So I'm telling her that I want her to go ahead and start that list, but if she's got any questions about somebody, if they're the right fit for it or not, we're going to talk about all that tomorrow. So I really just want her to start formulating these ideas in her mind. If you're going to theme-base this, that's another thing to talk about. Let's think about a theme and, what the kids, your friends' kids are into, or where you want to do this. Let's talk about a location. I personally, almost all the time, do this in my clients' backyards. And that's for my style. I want to shoot outside. I love natural light. And it's another one of those things that makes it completely different from what I do in my studio. In my studio, I'm using studio setup, studio lighting. I do longer sessions. I do $185 sessions. I want everything to be different. And so shooting outside in their backyards is one thing that I can do different. I also don't, I don't want anything that's all, any like formally posed stage kind of thing. So tomorrow when we work inside in here, it'll be more like if you're in Seattle and it's freezing cold and it's raining and you have to work inside, we're going to pretend like we're working in someone's living room, and we can make that happen. And I think I mentioned this morning that if it was me personally and I had that situation, I would work with that situation, and I would tell them, we're going to celebrate this area that you live in. We're going to do a rainy day session. We're going to bring umbrellas and cute rain boots and raincoats, and we're going to have fun in the rain, let the kids splash in the puddles. And I've done lots of sessions like that, and parents love those images. And I don't live in that sort of climate, but when you can do a rainy day session, and I tell my brides that too, if it's raining, we're going to have so much fun in the rain, and you're going to have pictures like nobody else has, and you turn that positive on it, and then all of a sudden they're excited about rain. And I actually tell my brides in our wedding worksheet, I tell them, if it rains on your, check out our images, our rainy day images, and you're going to hope for rain on your wedding day. Because it's, you can make it fun if you need to. So we're going to set a time for the call. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to help her brainstorm friends if she needs help. Most of the time they don't even need help, but I'm going to give her some of those same triggers that we went through defining our target client. I'm going to ask her to think about friends at church and at school and dance and gymnastics and organizations she's involved with. So it's just setting up those triggers for her to start thinking about. And I've got a little star there by neighborhood. And, in 2012, we don't know our neighbors, a lot of us. And I hear that from moms a lot. And it was interesting to me, the first couple of events that I did, I actually had moms telling me, this has been so fun for me because I've been wanting to meet my neighbor and her kids, or I've been wanting to meet the woman down the cul-de-sac, and this gave me an opportunity to go and meet them. So now I actually tell the clients, I tell the host moms, I've had so many moms that have told me this, and I'll just reiterate that, and they start thinking of people that maybe they wouldn't have thought about before because they really don't know them. They know they have kids, but they've never taken the time to meet each other. So just, give them some little triggers, help them think of people. And then I'm going to coach them on calling her guest. And that's what comes next. She's going to get a host letter, and we're just going to tell her, thanks for coming, here's what's next. invite your friends, let's get started. And I just email that to her. Most of the stuff I've just email. You guys all have a copy of this, but it's just a really simple, just greeting letter. I also am going to send her an event schedule. And one of the things that I coach my moms on when we're setting up a schedule is I tell her, when you call your first friend that books, if she books, for example, 11 o'clock, then when you call the next friend, what's available is 10:30 and 11:30. So we want to keep the schedule together. And that way, as you're booking, you don't have a huge gap in the day where you're sitting around doing nothing. This is Mom's phone script to when she's calling her friends. Okay, we'll do this. Was it too ready when I was doing the other?
It's all right.
This is how I'm going to coach Mom to talk to her friends when she calls them. So she's going to say, hey, this is Jane. How are your kids? Kind of that same introduction, just, ground feeler. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be hosting a portrait event. It's kind of like a party, and it's going to be at my house on July 7th. My favorite photographer is Lori Nordstrom. Have you ever heard of her? And they can have that conversation, and it's totally fine if it's no. It allows her to kind of make that introduction and say, here's why we love her or whatever. And this is another thing. I have this in an email, and I actually forward this to my host mom so she can read through what a phone call is going to look like. So Lori specializes in the cutest hand-painted frames and decorating the home with really cool wall groupings. I want them to start with that. This is different from anything that you've ever been contacted about, anything that you've ever seen. There's no other portrait party like this. So she's going to start with, she specializes in, again, those key words, write it down, what I specialize in, and get that into your language, because that really switches people's gears when they're calling and talking to you. So that's how I want her to communicate as well. Lori specializes in the cutest hand-painted frames and decorating the home with really cool wall groupings. I love them, and I'm actually wanting her to do a couple of new groupings for me, one in each of the girls' rooms. So now she's selling them on 2 groupings. And so obviously this is something that I've communicated to the mom before already. Our packages that we have that you'll see tomorrow are for 1 grouping in each package, but we oftentimes have moms that will buy more than 1 grouping. So they might buy one for a kid's room or a playroom and another one for the living room. They might, if she's got 2 kids, she might do one in each kid's room. So, and that does happen a lot. But if they're not doing 2, that's okay too, but she's just gonna tell them what she's planning on getting. And that also solidifies to this mom that she's gonna be making those decisions, and she's already made it before the event. So this mom now says, when she's presented with that idea that we're gonna be choosing these packages and these collections before the event, she's not shocked with that. This is a concept she's already heard. So I'm going to send you over the product menu so that you can get a good idea of what she offers. You're going to see 4 different package groupings, but when she calls you, if you're interested at all in having something custom designed for you, you can do that too. So again, just laying groundwork. And I'll show you the package menu here. This is what she's going to send to them, and we actually just send a PDF of this. And the one page that I have printed, I do print these from time to time, but not always. And sometimes I'm doing these portrait events not even in my location. And so you can just send them all to your host mom so she can get them out. And I get these were printed by ACI, by my lab, but Marathon Press does a very economical printing of these. You can get them I've got one that's a little bit thicker, but they're anywhere from $3 to $4 a piece. And so it's an investment, but it's such a nice presentation that it's worth it. But you can also send it PDF. The only reason that we've started doing the actual printing of them is a beautiful thing that I'm about to show you. But she's gonna go on to say, I know Lori's gonna be asking you for some images of your walls so that she can make clothing suggestions and design something for you based on your decor style and colors. And you heard me in the conversation with Lisa. She asked me about clothing, and I'm telling her, I really can't give you clothing suggestions until I see your home. Until I see where we're gonna hang your portraits, I can't tell you this is gonna look great in that room. In reality, the truth is, I shoot black and white. It doesn't matter. What I really coach them on are tones, and I tell them to think in black and white tones. I'm not worried about colors being matchy. None of that. I want them to be either all in light, medium, or dark tones. Other than that, they can mix and match textures, even patterns, even though I encourage them to go simple. All that's okay, but I'm telling them and communicating to them through the host mom that I'm going to be asking them about their decor style and getting images of their rooms so that I can make suggestions for their clothing. And really, it makes sense to people, you know? Well, you got to see where I'm going to put it before you can tell me what's going to go there, right? Any interior designer is going to ask for that. So I'm going to send you over a design tool with instructions on how to do this. It's really fun, and I can't wait to see what she puts together for you. So what we have is an actual design tool, and the instructions are just to photograph a wall straight on. We don't want it at an angle, but I used to always, and you can do this, but I used to always ask them to just tape a piece of paper to the wall, and that's actually what I had to do for our moms here because I was in Ecuador and didn't get them this. But what this is it's just a design tool, and it's just a peel and stick wall cling. And these come, and they can actually take this ruler and go to any wall that they would consider hanging a portrait, stick it on their wall, and it's not going to leave any sticky residue or anything like that. And what this does for me, and I didn't even hang that crooked, but what this does for me is I can then take this image into Preview. In Preview, there's a measuring tool so that I can measure this spot on the wall, and then I'm going to show the exact sizes as they will appear on her wall. And this is an amazing, amazing tool because what happens is if you show something in a certain size and it's the right size for that space, they've already seen it done. You know, they're not going to start arguing with you on what looks good and what doesn't. It's there, and that's what looks good. You know, so that's been a really great tool for us. Whether you use, you know, something fun like this, or you use a piece of paper, you use anything measurable against the wall. So it could be the backside of this credenza, it could be, you know, the backside of a headboard, whatever. As long as there's something measurable against the wall, you can put that into Preview, measure it, and place the exact right sizes appropriately on their wall. So they are going to see something done, finished, without images in it before they ever even come for their session. So even these little portrait events, we're taking the time to work with the clients in that way.
Lori, that is super cool.
Isn't that fun?
Yes. People online are like, wow. Tell us again where you can get that.
These are wall clings, and there's a couple of different companies that make these. I actually get these from H&H Color Lab, and I know my lab is working on them for me because I'm like, you have to get these. So ACI will have them soon. H&H has them. I think I know there's a couple of other places because before we started doing it, we researched a little bit. You can, if you have an in-house printer, you can buy rolls of this stuff, and it's just wall cling, and I'll get the exact name of it before tomorrow. I can't remember, but but they're big rolls, and like I have an in-house printer, but it only prints to 11 by 17, so it doesn't work for these. So we get them like 4 to a page and chop them and then just put them in here, and they stick to anything and come off of anything. So even to the paper, yeah, so they're awesome. And so what I would suggest to somebody starting out to stay cost effective is the first thing would just be to PDF your menu to them instead of printing it. The second thing would be just to tell them to put a piece of paper on the wall or something measurable. When you're ready to take it to the next level, Marathon Press prints the menus, $3 to $4 a piece, and you can order, I think, as few as 50 of them. So that would be, you know, like 5 portrait events that would take care of if you were going to give them to everyone. And then the wall clings ended up being like maybe $1 a piece. So it can stay economical, and as long as you're building it into your product line, into your profit, it's fine to do things like that. But in the beginning, don't worry about, I mean, you can make all this happen without investing that. Oh, okay. And then a lot of times when the host mom kind of goes through this, they know, the person on the other end of the line knows they're not just going to be buying 8x10s, right? We've already talked about putting things on their walls right from the first phone call. So they may ask, and I'm going to tell them, if you're asked, let them know what the investment is. And so I tell them to answer. If they're asked, you're probably going to end up spending about $1,000, but it's really worth it. And it's really like having an interior designer plan something for you that features your kids. I love it, you know. So we're communicating to her that she's communicating this to her guests. If the mom, the host mom that she's working with, is really interested in what we're doing but just cannot come on that date, then this is the next thing that I give her the tool to just say to her, you know, if she can't come, well, do you think you'd be interested in a hosting event? Because I can give your name to Lori and you could get something up for your friends too, could set something up for your friends too. I think you'd make a great host. So now I'm teaching her to tell her friend, you'd be great at this. So, you know, all these things are in place, these tools are in place for her, so that nothing's left up to her to try to guess and decide. I also tell my host moms, if you're asked a question that you don't know the answer to, just tell them, I don't know the answer, but I'll either find out from Lori or I'll make sure that she answers your question when she calls. So I am going to be calling each one of the guests. So, you know, all that's pretty streamlined, but you can tell that there is a very definite system in place so that we're communicating all the right things before the event happens. I do want to tell them, you're probably going to end up spending $1,000. All 4 of our packages are right at $1,000, either right under or right over. And so I don't want any of that to be a surprise to them, but they usually end up adding some things on to the package. Each package includes 1 wall grouping, so it's one of these 4 wall groupings, and 2 of the table frames, and they all come with prints, of course. So it's a wall grouping and 2 tabletop frames and prints, and that includes a package. And so from there they can add on gift prints, they can add on the photo jewelry, they can add on handbags. There's all kinds of fun things. We do the image boxes that they can add on, and I'll go through all of that when we talk about pricing together and kind of why it's set up the way it is. But the way we get them to those averages is by we're never talking about pictures. We're not talking about it. And so $1,000 for pictures doesn't make a lot of sense to people. But when you start talking about, this is kind of like having an interior designer. She's going to do something for you that's just for you, custom for you. She's going to be asking you to take pictures of your walls, get those over. I give everyone my cell phone number, which people think is crazy, but it's so much easier for somebody to just snap an iPhone picture and text it to me than, you know, if they have to take that step to get out there, point and shoot, or even to plug their phone into their computer and then try to email it. You know, it gets lost, and you know they don't do it. So I want to make it as easy for them as possible to do it. One thing that we do, if I don't have an image from someone when I am calling them for their consultation call, I will tell them on the phone, this is really, really important that we have this before I can make clothing suggestions and and help plan where something's going to be hanging in your home. So if you'll go ahead and do that right now, I'll give you my cell phone number again, and you can just do that while I wait on the phone. And I will literally wait while they do it because it's that important. And it's not just, making all those suggestions and talking them through, but they need to kind of get into the value and to feel that this is more than just somebody coming to take pictures of my kid, you know? So we're walking them through this whole process. This is some of the collateral that we use for actually inviting the guest. Top left, we've got an appointment card that just has a date and time, see you soon kind of thing. We get those to our host mom so she can get those to her friends. We supply them with an email header that they can send out and blast out to their friends if they want an email invite. And I use that too, and we just have that ready to go and drop an image in if we need to. This bottom right is an invitation that we can print if we need to. Some of my moms, I don't know where those went. Some of my moms prefer to have actual invitations that they can give to their friends or hand out at dance or whatever, so we'll supply them with that. Otherwise, we do it on an email. So they can do an email. We help them put a Facebook event together if they want to do that. We'll help them with whatever they need. That's a timeline image. So again, we're just dropping images in there. It's a template. It's the same every single time. But they can put their event on Facebook. I can drop their kids or whatever into the timeline image. We put their date on there, and then they can it's for details message me. So she can put it like right on her Facebook page. And if her friend sees it and says, hey, what you got going on? They can just message her on Facebook. So anything that we can do to just get things to them to help them get the word out and communicate this message. with everything, I do communicate to my moms that no matter how they're inviting people, making a personal phone call is really important. And, you know, the moms are motivated too. Usually what I'm doing for our events is I'm finding out an item or two that she's excited about and really interested in. So it might be the Katori cuff, or it might be, you know, not an image box, a accordion book. You know, it's going to be an item of a certain amount, but I'm going to find out, you know, kind of what she's into, and I'm going to tell her, you know, if you go ahead and book all those 10 sessions and every session books or purchases a package, then I'm going to gift you with that Katori cuff, or, you know, or whatever it is that she's into. It's different every time because every mom is motivated by something a little bit different, but they get excited about those things. So now we're going to do the 2 consultations, and I think we can wrap after that. I got my 15-minute sign. The host mom consultation. So this is after I've talked to mom, we've set everything up, I've coached her on how she's gonna talk to her friends. I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna find out, if I don't already know, what the ages are, what the kids are into. Oh, this is the second call that we're going to play. Sorry, let's just play it. Do we have time? Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. It's Lori Nordstrom again.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good. How about you?
Good. I am just calling back, and have you had time to sit and think about some friends who might be interested in a Real Kids session?
Yes. I definitely I have 50 friends, so.
Wow. You
Yeah.
are well connected. Susan was right.
I
So, do you have any questions? Is there anybody that you're wondering whether they'd be a good fit or not? Any questions that you have for me?
Yeah, so I have a friend who has a 6-month-old who is not sitting up, and a toddler. So I was just curious if I should take her off the list.
I would take her off the list. We really, sitting up is kind of the criteria. And if even sitting up with assistance isn't the greatest, because the moms are not with me when I'm photographing.
Got it. Okay.
So
That
that's
makes
kind of my
sense.
reason. Yeah, so good question.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's pick a date then.
Okay.
Do you have your calendar out?
I do. Right in front of me.
Good. Well, I have a couple days that we have available for this. We could do Saturday, November 10th, or I have Thursday the 15th available, or Saturday the 17th.
Let's go for Saturday the 17th.
Okay, that sounds great. That'll be a perfect day for me. And with it being in November, we're probably going to have to schedule it inside. Is that okay with you if I come and set up in your living room?
That's definitely okay with me. It's cold out there.
It is. And I love doing the cold weather sessions too, but I don't think we'll risk it on November 17th.
Okay, great.
Okay. So what I'll have you do is, since you've got so many names on your list, kind of prioritize and, you know, call your favorites first, the people that you think they're going to love this, and kind of work from there. And then as you schedule, I'm going to be sending you over an actual schedule for you to fill out.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to be asking you to get some information from each of the moms, and it's just contact info, so nothing too serious, but just contact information. And then as you're scheduling, what I'll have you do is schedule the first appointment. And for example, if you schedule it at 11, the next one that you call, you're going to make 10:30 or 11:30 available. Okay. So that way we keep everybody kind of grouped together, and that really helps the flow of the day.
Right.
So does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll be sending you over that schedule. I'm also going to send you over some email invitations. And so you'll be able to make that initial contact via email if you'd like to do that. Okay. And then we've also got a Facebook event image so that you can put a Facebook event up and have a, like you're hosting a little party. So that's fun too.
Mm-hmm.
And that sometimes helps with those initial contacts, but then you definitely want to call and make that personal contact once
Absolutely.
you have somebody interested.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll plan for November 17th. 10 to 12 moms is really kind of our goal. And what you're going to get for every mom who signs up her children, you're going to get $50 in portrait credit.
Woohoo.
And so that's why I have that goal for you to set up, 10 to 12
Got it.
appointments so that you've got that $500 to $600 in portrait credit for you
Right.
to spend.
I love it.
Okay, and then let's see. One of the things that we specialize in, and one of the things that makes this really different from other portrait events or, really anything else probably your friends have been invited to like this, is what we specialize in, and that is creating custom wall concepts for our clients. And obviously with these sessions, we're going to be doing that pretty quickly because we're doing, showing the images right after.
Right.
And so I'll want to make contact with each one of your mommies as well.
Okay.
And what I'm going to be asking you to do and asking them to do is to take some snapshots, and it just can be easy, but just take snapshots of the walls in your home,
Okay.
anywhere that you would consider hanging a portrait,
Mm-hmm.
and send that over to me. And then when I do a call with each one of the moms, including you, to plan for your session, I'll be able to make clothing suggestions and talk about props that we might want you to bring for the session, just based on your home decor style.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some empty walls.
Yay! Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll let you get started. I'm gonna email you over all these things, the invitations, the Facebook info, and I'm gonna email you kind of just a script to go by when you're talking to your friends. And of course, you don't need to read it or go by it verbatim, but it just gives you a few little tips to make sure that you cover with them.
Good. You make it so easy. Thank you.
Hopefully it'll be easy, and you can let them know any questions that you don't have an immediate answer for. Just tell them, Lori's going to plan a call with you before the event date and go over everything with you personally. So make sure you save your questions and you can ask her then.
Okay.
So that'll make it easy on you too.
Thanks. That sounds great.
Okay. Well, I'm so excited, and I'm excited to meet your kids. They sound wonderful.
They're pretty cute.
Yay.
So November.
Okay. We'll plan for the 17th, and I will definitely be in contact with you before then, and call and let me know how your planning's going, how the scheduling's going, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, that was that. When we're doing the guest consultation call, it pretty much goes the same way. When I'm calling and doing an actual consultation with the guests before they come, I'm talking to them about their walls, getting to know them, talking about their kids, their ages, what they're into. I really want to know what their kids are into, and even if it's not about bringing props, I don't use a lot of props in my images anyway. If there's something that they're, can't live without, I want them to bring it. But I really just want to know, my kid's into dinosaurs, so I can talk about dinosaurs. I want to know my daughter's into all the princesses, so that I can talk about Rapunzel or whatever. It's just finding out what's going to be their little trigger that will get them engaged in me. And I don't have moms with me when I'm photographing, and I do coach the host mom through that as well. That when they come in, they're basically going to be dropping off their kids with me to the backyard, whatever they can watch from the windows, and that's fine. But I really want the host mom to be engaging the mom as I'm photographing, showing her product, talking about stuff, and here's what Lori does, and really kind of getting into all of that again, so that when she sits down, now she's had that first phone call, she's had a consultation with me. We've been through this whole entire process so that she's sitting down and just excited about what she's about to see. She's going to see images and frames on her walls, a room done, and it really solidifies that final sale when you take all those steps to get to that place. I also want to ask about food allergies, because we have snacks and things And if there's a kid that really shouldn't be having sugar, I need mom to tell me that so I'm not bringing suckers or, whatever. We want to make them appropriate to them. Right now I'm trying to get rid of Halloween candy, so this is what the event schedule looks like. Like I said, we're having the host mom, fill this in for me. It's just the parent's name, the kid's name, their address and zip, email and phone number. I am actually having them fill out something pretty close to this when they come in, but this is just a good way for us to start working through this. And I'll have she can just take a picture of this as she starts feeling spots. Take a picture of it, send it to my iPhone, I can start making phone calls. We've got all the information in one place.